marriage is one of the most significant cultural tensions in the world. People obviously think the idea of a child marriage is bad, but have you ever think about how or why is it bad? Which leads us into our research question, what are the consequences for the children after the adults in Niger make a decision of letting their child or children marry a stranger? First, what is child marriage? Instead of explaining it with words, I will give an example. This is Judy and she has just turned 15. Then her parents came to her and say, Judy, it's time for you to get married. And they didn't let Judy to choose to get married or not. When Judy wants to know who she's going to spend her whole life with, her parents also don't know about it since they're too focused on the rewards they get from letting Judy marry the unknown person. Judy will be separated from her family for the rest of her life. Cruel enough, right? That's why we can't tolerate any cases of child marriage. However, the marriage rate before their 18s in Niger has a high national rate at 76.5%. Therefore, we have to know that the reasons behind child marriage. Child marriage is an absolute terrible decision that parents make for their children. Therefore, the reasons behind it is mostly based on their living conditions, which can be easily improved. Poverty, financial problems are some of them. There are also other cultural factors that let the parents make such a bad decision. Lack of education, social classes, and gender inequality are some of them. After talking about the reasons behind it, back to our research question, which is basically why is child marriage bad for children? First, child marriage will cause a lack of education of children. If a child gets married at a young age, the learning will be suspended and they can only stay with their companion for the rest of their lives. According to human rights, deprivation of education is not tolerated. Next, child marriage will cause physical and mental problems on children. After the child gets married to a person they don't know, who's usually an adult, has a high rate of getting abuse, which is basically child abuse. Child abuse is also a big reason of cruelty of child marriage. Aside from that, children will never get to communicate and contact with their family anymore after getting married, which means they won't get any emotional support. Since child marriage is child marrying a stranger, the child doesn't know a single person in the other family, which causes them to be alone, which will eventually lead to mental illnesses like depression and anxiety. Last but not least, child marriage is a violation of human rights. According to the Human Rights Article 16, marriage shall be entered into only with the free and full consent of the intending spouses. Child marriage is obviously an ignorance of the human rights. Although the law in Niger has restricted people from getting married before the age of 18, people will still ignore the law and get their children married early because of their terrible living conditions. However, we can make a difference by donating to the organizations that help with this issue. Giving people financial support can improve their living conditions and decrease the rate of poverty. By improving their living conditions, child marriage will become less popular in Niger. Therefore, we can save more children from child marriage.